Into the facility management handbook, a large percentage of the monies being spent by a company is first of all goes to the payment of employees, and afterwards the second highest cost in terms of company spending is the one that goes to maintenance of facilities. So facilities consist of a large portion of the investment of an organization. In this video, we're going to look at two things. First of all, we are going to look at briefly what reliability is for maintenance engineers and the maintenance industry. And then we're going to look at acronyms that are used in facility management. In the 1960s, due to aircraft technology and the spreading of aircraft business, the concept of reliability was designed and came to be the normal way to work when it has to do with maintenance. So with reliability, you're talking about ability of a system, equipment or facility to perform its intended function consistently and predictably over a certain period of time without unexpected failures or breakdowns. So reliability is a concept which is important for engineers to actually consider when they are maintaining a facility. In the past, we've mostly focused on what we call um, failure and breakdown of equipment prior to actually maintaining this equipment. But with reliability, you're able to design this equipment to have a certain lifespan. You're able to actually maintain this equipment in a way that you can actually predict. So you can actually have predictive maintenance or condition-based maintenance. So you can actually use the Internet of Things to actually understand the state of an equipment in order to have proactive maintenance of this equipment. So this book right here, Maintenance and Reliability Best Practices, is one book that will be useful for people who are interested in going into the field of maintenance or reliability or even facility management. This is Catchment of Resources. Let's go into this video. So we're going to look at 48 acronyms in the field of facility management. There are many other technical terms and acronyms, but these 48 are the most common of acronyms in facility management. In this video, we look at various common maintenance and facility management acronyms. The focus of this video is to state the meaning of these acronyms. On a later video, you can actually look at what they actually mean when you are in the context of maintenance, not just knowing the meaning, because it's one thing to know the meaning of the acronyms, it's another thing to know where these acronyms apply in terms of conversations or what it sounds like when you're actually defining it to your audience. So first of all, facility management can be summarized as FM. So FM is the first acronym. It's not generally an acronym for this video, but most times facility management is summarized as FM. So first of all, we have ACOP, Approved Code of Practice. So in the field of facility management, there are several codes and standards that an organization needs to adhere to. So these codes could involve codes that has to do with heating and ventilation of a structure or a building. It could also have to do with occupational health and safety standards that need to be applied by this organization. So there are various approved code of practices that need to be utilized by facility management or managers or engineers or those in the facility management profession. So ACOP is one acronym. The next acronym is ALAP. This ALAP is common when it has to do with safety. So in the field of safety, you have to deal with ALAP. So ALAP talks about, when you are implementing mitigation methods or approaches for risk. Maybe you identify a risk and you now find out measures through which you can actually reduce this risk. There are times where reducing this risk comes with some certain costs, but there's some certain amount of money that a company or organization looks at as being unreasonable to actually spend so much money for safety. as long as that safety concern or risk does not lead to a casualty. If it's something that can be absorbed and the business can still continue, then that's where you call ALAP as low as reasonably practicable. So you can actually reduce the risk to a certain level where you see it's practicable. Any other length trying to reduce it beyond that point means that you should not actually be in that business. So while managing risk, it acknowledges that it may not always be possible or practical to eliminate risk entirely, but the goal is to minimize them to a level that is acceptable within the constraints of the situation. Next is ASHRAE, American Society of Heating, Refrigerating, and Air Conditioning Engineers. This has to do with HVAC systems, which is the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems of buildings and facilities and industrial plants. So with ASHRAE, they actually make provision for the different standards in terms of flow rates, percentage of what you can actually have as intake or withdrawal of fresh air from a facility. So they have standards in their code of practice. BAS is Building Automation System. So depending on the kind of facility you are, you can actually have a software system with certain hardware that can actually control surveillance of the facility, the locking cards and access and locks of various doors and access into various units of the facility. So building automation system actually sees the different units in that facility and can actually control them down to the HVAC system, the fire alarm system, mechanical or even plumbing system. It actually has a record of all these units and can actually automate each of these um, central units for the different components of the facility. Next is BIM, Building Information Modeling. This is actually a replica of whatever facility you might have. So there are softwares that can actually replicate what it looks like to be in a particular facility. So that's BIM, Building Information Modeling. Next is CAD, Computer Aided Design. So this is an acronym that we needed when you are speaking about facilities and spaces. Sometimes in facility management, when maintenance is being carried out in a certain location, you might need a CAD design of the facility to actually know where there's available space that is sufficient to accommodate staff and personnel being moved from a particular segment of the facility to a new location. So CAD designs are important when you have to do with such facility management profession. Next is CAFM. CAFM is Computer Aided Facility Management. This is similar to BAS, but this has less functionality as than the BAS. So this is Computer Aided Facility Management. So it records the kind of maintenance that is going on in a facility, looks at spaces, manages spaces, as well as access control on a facility. Next is CAV, Constant Air Volume. This has to do with the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system of a facility. It talks about the nature of the air conditioning system, whether the flow of air is constant or whether it varies with the size of a space as it pertains to the structure of the facility. Next is CBM. Next is CBM, Condition-Based Maintenance. So there are different ways to carry out maintenance. You have predictive maintenance, you have proactive maintenance, and you have reactive maintenance. So proactive maintenance is actually maintaining an equipment or a facility based on studies you have known that you're able to look into the future and understand that based on the condition of the facility or the equipment in a certain period of time in the future, it's likely to break down. So rather than allowing it to break down, you can actually carry out maintenance based on that condition that you have observed. And this condition-based maintenance is made possible with the use of sensors, Internet of Things, and other kind of equipment in order to synchronize the observation and non-destructive testing of these equipments. So that's CBM. Next is CMF, common mode failure. So this refers to a failure scenario in which multiple components or elements within a system fail simultaneously or under the same conditions, leading to a system-wide failure or loss of function. So this common mode failure means that several functionalities of this equipment will actually fail due to one segment of the equipment going bad. So according to the 80-20 principle, where it says that 20% of the causes result in 80% of the effects. So 20% of these causes have a large influence up to 80% of whatever environment you are discussing. So common mode failure has to do with refers to a failure scenario in which one cause leads to multiple kind of failure. So CMMS is computerized maintenance management system. CMMS is actually a software. It's used to manage notification for maintenance work. It's used to manage contractors who are working on various works. You can also use it to identify have records of past historical data on the maintenance of various equipment and facilities. So CMMS has multiple functions for facility management. Next is COMA, Control of Major Accident Hazard Regulation. These are a set of regulations in the United Kingdom that aim to prevent and mitigate the effects of major accidents involving hazardous substances. So there are various chemicals that are being used, for example, in the oil and gas industry. Those chemicals are harmful, but they're actually required in the process of the exploration of this oil and gas. So you actually have to have a controlled environment while using these substances. Or also, substances are also created in the process of exploration and processing of oil and gas. So these have to be controlled as well in order to avoid accidents and hazards. Next is COSH, COSHH, Control of Substances Hazardous to Health. This is a set of regulations in the United Kingdom that aim to protect workers from the risk associated with exposure to hazardous substances in the workplace. Next is CPD, Continuing Professional Development. This refers to the ongoing process of learning, development, and enhancement of professional skills and knowledge throughout one's career. Most times, there are some certain professional qualifications that once you get it, in order to maintain that professional qualification or certification, you need to undergo some CPD on a regular basis. It might be monthly, might be annually. So there's a certain So there's a specified number of months or years for someone to continue to train themselves independently in order to maintain that certification. So there are many certifications that are like that. So possibly IFMA, which is there's Facility Management Professional FMP, and there are various other facility management certifications that one can actually get, which may require them to continuously engage in CPD. So next is EAM, Enterprise Asset Management. So this is similar to CMMS, only that it's more comprehensive. This is a comprehensive approach to managing an organization's physical assets throughout their entire life cycle from acquisition to disposal. EAM encompasses the management of assets such as equipment, machinery, vehicles, facilities, infrastructure, and other tangible assets that are essential for the organization's operations. Next is ERP. In some certain fields, for example, if you are talking about project management, ERP, or in finance management, you might be talking about ERP, meaning enterprise resource planning. But here, for facility management, in most cases, ERP means emergency response plan. So in every organization or facility or space or plant, you actually need a set of rules or instructions of what needs to be done when different kinds of emergencies occur. So there are different kinds of emergencies. An emergency may be one due to accident on a personnel, maybe someone falls sick. That could be a form of emergency. Another emergency could be the release of gases. Another emergency could be failure of an equipment or failure of structures. So there are different kinds of emergencies which could occur, and there are different listed instructions that one can follow, which is written in the ARP. This is a comprehensive document that outlines procedures, protocols, and actions to be taken in the event of an emergency or disaster. ERPs are developed by organizations, agencies, and communities to ensure effective response and coordination during emergencies with the primary goal of protecting lives, property, and the environment. FMEA, Failure Mode and Effects Analysis. This is a systematic technique used to identify and prioritize potential failure modes of a product, process, or system and assess their potential effects on performance, safety, reliability, and quality. Next is FTA, fault tree analysis. This is a systematic and graphical method used to analyze and evaluate the potential causes of a system failure or undesired events. This FTA is similar to root cause This FTA is similar to root cause analysis or fishbone technique that you use to analyze an incident that may have occurred. So you ask multiple if questions or why questions to find out why something happens. And when you now find out why that first incident occurred, and you find out again what led to that second incident happening in the first instance. So that is similar to fishbone analysis. So this is FTA. Next is IAQ, indoor air quality. This refers to the quality of the air within buildings and structures, including homes, offices, schools, and other indoor environments. The next is indoor air quality. This refers to the quality of the air within buildings and structures, including homes, offices, schools, and other indoor environments. An example of specifications for indoor air quality can be found in documentation from ASHRAE. IoT, Internet of Things. IoT refers to the network of interconnected devices embedded with softwares, sensors, enabling them to collect and exchange data. So IoT is actually used in CBM, that's condition-based maintenance. The IoT technology is used for gathering information from equipment and facilities in order to understand the condition or state of this equipment in order to plan maintenance. Next is IWMS, Integrated Workplace Management System. This is similar to BAS, CMMS, and CAFM, and EAM as well. This is a software platform that combines various functionalities to support the management of organizations' real estate portfolio, facilities, assets, and workplace operations. IWMS solutions integrate multiple modules and data sources to streamline processes, improve efficiency, and optimize the use of physical resources within an organization. JSA. JSA is job safety analysis. Most times prior to a group or a contractor carrying out a work, they need to spell out the kind of activities that will be done in that work, the different steps they are going to take, the methods they are going to apply, then the safety precautions on that job, and how they are going to mitigate any risk that might occur. All of this is documented and submitted prior to them carrying out any job in a facility. So that document has to be approved by safety personnel or those who are responsible prior to any job being carried out in a facility. So this is a systematic process used to identify, document, and mitigate potential hazards associated with specific job tasks or activities. It includes a list of the job steps and method of work. KPI, this is key performance indicators, or it could also be key performance index. KPIs are measurable values that demonstrate how effectively a company is achieving key business objectives. So KPIs are actually high-level objectives that have been put into numbers for you to quantify how much is being done with respect to a certain reference or standard. MTBF, that's mean time between failures. This is a reliability metric used to estimate the average time elapsed between consecutive failures of a system or component during normal operation. Reliability has to do with the probability of an equipment functioning for a certain period of time at its full capabilities. So mean time between failures helps you to estimate how long an equipment will work with between failing once and failing again. MTTF is mean time to failure. This is a reliability metric used to estimate the average time it takes for a non-repairable system or component to fail under normal operating conditions. MTTR, mean time to repair. This is a key performance indicator used to measure the average time required to repair a failed system, component, or equipment and restore it to operational status after a failure. MTTR could be used in the management of projects such as this, so you actually know the timelines of when equipment will be back on stream. Next is OH, occupational health. This refers to the branch of public health focused on promoting and maintaining the physical, mental, and social well-being of workers in the workplace. Similar to OH is OHS, but this is an additional branch, so you actually have safety included. So it talks about occupational health and safety, which includes the work environment and how work operations are being done. So this is a multidisciplinary field concerned with ensuring the health, safety, and well-being of workers in the workplace. OSH, occupational safety and health, is similar to OHS. OSHA is Occupational Safety and Health Administration. This is a federal agency within the United States Department of Labor. It was created in 1970 with the enactment of the Occupational Safety and Health Act, OSH Act, to ensure safety and healthy working conditions for employees by setting and reinforcing standards, providing training, outreach, education, and assistance. PAT, portable appliance testing. This is a process used to inspect and test electrical appliances and equipment to ensure they are safe for use in the workplace. So there are various tests that you can have. You can have destructive tests and non-destructive tests. So PAT is part of the NDT kind of test. PDCA, Plan, Do, Check, Act. This is a management method or cycle used for continuous improvement of processes, products, or services in various industries. This PDCA often has to do with quality. So it's important to understand the various steps in order to ensure quality. PDM is predictive maintenance. This is a proactive maintenance strategy that aims to predict equipment failures before they occur by monitoring the condition of assets in real time or at regular intervals. PFD, probability of failure on demand. This is a measure used in safety engineering to quantify the reliability of safety instrumented systems, SIS, or safety functions within a system. Next is PM, preventive maintenance. This is a proactive maintenance strategy aimed at preventing equipment failures. Next is PPE. This is a very common acronym, which is personal protective equipment, equipment worn by personnel to ensure safety during work activities. PTW is permit to work. Permit to work is an actual documentation that acknowledges that an organization or a group or a contractor is able to carry out work in a certain segment or location. This document may actually evidence the various safety precautions or the nature or scope of work that needs to be carried out by the personnel. RBI, risk-based inspection. This is a systematic approach used in asset-intensive industries such as oil and gas, petrochemical, chemical processing, and power generation to prioritize and optimize inspection and maintenance activities for equipment and facilities. Most times in a facility, one will actually look and inspect equipment that have failed in the past, or you just do a general inspection of all the equipment. But with risk-based inspection, you're actually able to do a criticality analysis of the impact of the failure of any equipment. With that criticality analysis, you're able to do an hierarchy of the different levels or importance of these equipment. So that can form a basis for carrying out inspection. So you focus on the more critical equipment while you're inspecting. So this is one aspect of risk-based inspection, RBI. RCM is reliability-centered maintenance. So with the concept of reliability, understanding that is the probability of an equipment to function for a certain period of time at the design capacity, then there's an approach to maintenance. In other words, you are trying to carry out maintenance to ensure that that equipment is effectively maintained so that it can serve at that required capacity or performance level for a particular period of time. So reliability-centered maintenance, RCM, is another concept in facility management. READER is reporting of injuries, diseases, and dangerous occurrences. So in various organizations, you're actually required as part of job responsibilities to take records of the near misses of incidents or accidents or anomalies. So this is a set of regulations in the United Kingdom that requires employers, the self-employed, and those in control of work premises to report and record certain work-related accidents, injuries, illnesses, and dangerous occurrences. ROSPA, Royal Society for the Prevention of Accidents. This is a British charity organization dedicated to promoting safety and preventing accidents in various areas of life, including workplaces, homes, roads, leisure activities, and public spaces. RTF, Run to Failure. There are some equipment that it's actually more economical to an organization to actually let it run till it fails. So there's no need for carrying out predictive maintenance or time-based maintenance. You just allow it to run until it fails, and then either you repair it or you replace it. So it's more economical rather than trying to maintain such equipment, seeing that it doesn't have any particularly important effects. So in terms of its criticality, it's at a low level criticality in the hierarchy of importance of equipment. SBS, sick building syndrome. One way to look at sick building syndrome is where you have more quantity of carbon dioxide in the air than the acceptable limits in natural air. So with these uncomfortable levels of CO2, it's possible that people will begin to have sensations or it will affect people's performance in a workplace. So SBS has to do with the air quality as well. This is a term used to describe a range of symptoms experienced by individuals who occupy a particular building, typically office buildings, schools, or residential complexes. These symptoms occur when occupants are inside the building and improve or disappear when they leave the building. SLA, Service Level Agreement. SLA defines the level of service expected from a supplier, laying out the metrics by which that service is measured. So it's sort of like a contract for services that needs to be rendered by an external party. Next is SOP, standard operating procedures. These are documented instructions or guidelines that outline the step-by-step processes, procedures, and protocols for carrying out specific tasks or activities within an organization. Next is TBM, time-based maintenance. This is a maintenance strategy where maintenance activities are scheduled at predetermined time intervals, regardless of the actual condition of the equipment or asset being maintained. For example, if you buy a vehicle, they might tell you that you should maintain it once in 3, you should change the oil and other things once in 3 months or after a certain number of kilometers that it has been driven by. That's likened to time TBM, time-based maintenance. There are other equipments that are like that. So it's different from actually doing a CBM, which is condition-based maintenance. VAV is variable air volume, as opposed to constant air volume, which we looked at earlier, CAV. VAV has to do with varying air volume according to the space that is supplying. So this is a type of HVAC system that controls the airflow to different zones or spaces within a building based on varying heating and cooling requirements. So that's VAV. Next is WO, work order. This is a formal document or directive used in various industries and organizations to authorize and track the completion of specific tasks, projects, maintenance activities, repairs, or services. Thank you for watching this video. We have looked at various acronyms in the field of facility management. Facility management also is a multidisciplinary team because you also need multiple professionals to actually work on various facility items. But associated with facility management is maintenance. And so we looked at in the beginning of this video, we looked at a book that is useful for maintenance and facility professionals. Thank you for watching this video. This is Catchment of Resources, where we create for better living.